Hi, Gary here again. So the following videos that make up parts 5 to 10 in the wooden wing building process mostly contain still pictures with voiceover explaining what's going on in the pictures. And I've broken up the build process into 14 separate steps. Step 1 was choosing the correct airfoil. There's a whole academic discipline devoted to airfoil design. Too much to go into here, but I have an Airfoil program that I've used for years to build wings for radio-controlled aircraft. So that's what I used to select the airfoil that I wanted. I decided on a Clark Z or a Clark Z for my friends in the good old USA that might happen to be watching these videos. With this particular airfoil, which is fairly thin and has good lift characteristics, and with a little bit of camber in it, I was able to get a sufficient amount of lift, or in my case downforce, with minimal drag. The camber, for simplicity's sake, is the amount of upsweep or downsweep on the airfoil. For a more detailed and correct explanation, refer to the link in the description for the video. I chose this airfoil because it's fairly thin. The stock airfoil is completely flat on the bottom. I wanted it to sweep up towards the trailing edge of the airfoil, so I put a fair bit of camber into it. I was looking for a reasonable amount of downforce with minimal drag, and this airfoil with the extra camber did the trick. Step 2 was to import the airfoil data and reproduce it in AutoCAD, and then scale it to be the correct size. As I said before, I was really trying to get the car out this summer sometime, so I was designing as I was building, trying to stay a day ahead with the design process. However, this choice proved to be detrimental to the whole build process. Step 3 was to cut out and shape the ribs. Once I was far enough ahead that I could print out some rib templates, I started cutting and shaping the ribs. I rough cut them all and then transferred 4 registration holes in the ribs and bolted them all together for sanding and shaping. These registration holes proved to be indispensable to the whole build process. They came in handy so many times. The 4 holes in the middle plus the 2 holes near the outermost ends will be used to mount the spill plate. Oops, this one snuck in here. This was actually one of the templates that I used when making the aluminum wing series of forming jigs. Step 4 was to fill, sand, and shape. The way ribs were shaped properly, it was time to take some wood filler and sand them all so that they were all uniform and square to each other. First attempt didn't work out so great. The filler I bought was supposed to be great stuff, but was total garbage, nothing more than drywall filler. I had to strip it all off and search for a better alternative. One other trick I found was to place a washer between the ribs so that there was a bit of a gap between them. This made it easier to separate them without the filler bridging over and causing problems. Step 5 was to check the trailing edge fit, cut and shape the ribs, and check the fit. Here I'm checking the squareness at the rear of the ribs where the trailing edge will be epoxied. And then I'm checking the trailing edge piece to make sure it fits properly. And this is all the ribs plus the 2 3/4 inch end caps ready for assembly. Once the perimeter had been shaped, the ribs were cut where they will be fitted and epoxied to the main spar. Here I'm sanding the ribs to make sure that they will be perfectly square where they will fit into the main spar. Now the ribs need to be notched to fit against the main spar and the leading edge dowel.